how's everyone doing? We're good? All right. Welcome to the second demo. So, hello. We are Insightcircle. Hey, we are Insightcircle. We are the data firewall for your large language models. My name is Gloria. Sorry, can someone? Okay. Yeah, my name is Gloria Felicia. I also go by Glo. I have done deep neural network research in University of Virginia, and recently exited my AI startup, Many Bytes. And here's my team, Jatin, who's done AI health startups, and Colin, who's an highly experienced multi-times founder who has worked at Cisco Meraki as well. So today, the problem is that enterprises have to make a choice between privacy and productivity, and it's a huge problem.
Thank you. So 100 million plus, that's the number of regular ChatGPT users across the last few months. People that go on ChatGPT consistently around the world, and that's excluding other numbers from other open source or other models like Bard and Alpaca. So 100 million plus people who use these open source LLMs every day or every week, many of whom, as you can imagine, are employees of organizations. There's been a 40% or over 40% increase in the productivity levels of such employees simply by using tools like ChatGPT, according to a study by MIT earlier this year. We've also spoken collectively to 50 plus companies who have validated the need for this product in the market. These are all companies whose employees use ChatGPT on a large scale to achieve these stats of increase in productivities. And yeah, they confirm the need for this product. Yes, so ChatGPT is creating shadow IT. And that basically means people in the organization using ChatGPT and other LLMs without realizing, without the IT or security departments realizing. And here's just a snippet of large-scale companies in the last few months who've had serious issues with companies simply trying to do their job, simply trying to increase productivity, output levels for their company, but instead they go and paste intellectual property, they go and paste personal information into these LLMs, and no one's really sure what OpenAI is doing with the data. No one's comfortable with sharing this stuff with OpenAI. And so that really showed us that, you know, if organizations are going to ban these products, that's going to make employees want to go somewhere else. Go somewhere else is easier to do their work. And so you realize the need for Insightcircle. Insightcircle allows your entire workforce to tap into the benefits of large language models, that being increased productivity and increased output levels without, that's the keyword, without compromising any personal identifiable information, PII, for example, name, phone number, credit card details, and intellectual property. And we've got a live demo, which we're very excited to show you, so I'll hand over for that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Colin, and I'm going to show you guys a quick little live demo of our live product right here. So I'm going to start a new chat. We've put our open API key right here in the bottom left, and we'll let you guys actually demo this yourself with your own API keys. Now, I'm just going to copy my last test right here. This is a CSV format right here. And basically, I'm giving it a bunch of customer data. I'm saying, here's all my customer data. I'm just going to give it right to ChatGPT. Here you go. And can you go ahead and reorder all of that? Reorder all of this data by date of birth. Now, normally, you know, ChatGPT should like say, oh, I don't want to work with personal data, but there's so many ways around that you can very easily convince ChatGPT to take your data and have it working and start working. So right away, it's gonna. There's always a moment when you do a live demo, and
yeah, it's a demo.
Now, for this demo, we've actually disabled the ability to re-identify the data. So what you're actually seeing now is fake data that we've generated. We call it synthetic PII. Synthetic PII is better than redacting. It's better than masking or tokenizing or all of these de-anonymizations, which there's been a lot of press about how de-anonymization isn't really as effective. Synthetic PII is a new generative AI model that can actually replace your PII with something that looks very similar to it. So ChatGPT and the large language models can treat it just like normal PII and handle it. And you can see right here, all of this information is completely different from this information. And you can go ahead and use this data, and then we can automatically re-identify it back as it comes back in. So the way that this works, and I'll dive into the benefits of our product. So right now, what we just demoed is our first major feature, and we spent time talking to 50 different companies, and #1 feature was data leak prevention. And that's not just PII, it's GDPR, it's HIPAA, it's Quebec Privacy Act, and more. So there's a lot of different types of data that need to be protected. And so our data firewall is going to identify them and then replace them with generated synthetic PII. Now, obviously, enterprises have more than just this one requirement. They need observability. They need IT audit logs. So we've got all that. We can ship those logs to your SIM, and we can also use role-based access control with SSO. So this is just something that OpenAI is not offering today, and probably isn't going to go and build custom integrations for every enterprise. Now, source code obfuscation, this is extremely critical, as right now people are using ChatGPT to write their code for their jobs, and they're sharing proprietary intellectual property. So this is a really simple way, just obfuscate the important attributes like API keys or comments, and this makes the code less likely to be misused. Also, maybe the most important thing, and maybe the most difficult, is actually improving the models that lie underneath. And the way that we can do that is actually long-term memory, or what we call retrieval. So we can share with it your files or your GitHub or your CRM. So we're improving the knowledge. So you're kind of onboarding the AI into your company and giving it employee knowledge. So this is a nice, beautiful architecture diagram showing you what we just demoed. So hi, my name's Colin. Here's my phone number. That's my real phone number, by the way. But it's okay, because we've got this generating synthetic data to replace it. So now my name is Santa and my phone number is 895, 56309. Now, also, we have to have that audit before we send anything out of the enterprise. You need to know what we're sending out. So if something does leak, you need to know about that. If you made a commitment in your marketing that you're going to protect someone's data, you need to also prove that you did protect that data. So this is that proof layer. If the FTC ever comes after your company, you can show that you did not violate someone's privacy. We did a lot of analysis of the market. In fact, we found privacy APIs that do exactly what we need them to do. And so we can actually partner with them rather than compete with the other companies in this space. What we're doing is we're providing that enterprise solution with all the features and products underneath that enterprises need. There's also ChatGPT and LLMs out there, but they don't provide these features. They just provide them as APIs or plugins that maybe you need to connect and build yourself. And then there's endpoint agents out there that can detect PII, but they're not really focused on enabling and educating your employee workforce or giving them a place to access and spend their time. So in terms of pricing, we see this as a varying different ways that we can go, but we see it's very easy to go and sell a 100K solution to an enterprise. This is cheaper than the cost of hiring an engineer to go and build the solution internally. So we can come in and we can give them a prepackaged software that we can customize for that enterprise, but we can also go after the commercial and mid-market sector who are ready to adopt. They're the easy buyers. They have knowledge workers like law firms and consulting firms and fintech companies that already are using ChatGPT, but they don't know how their IT organization is just concerned about the shadow IT.
Yeah, so as we said earlier, that we have interviewed more than 50 companies so far. In the pipeline, we have a lot of law firms, private equity, a lot of legal counsels as well, universities, as well as mid-market and enterprises such as Toyota and Adobe. I have personally worked at my own software agency before, and we have clients such as them. And yeah, we could just circle back, and we believe that one of our defensibility could be our unique AI interface with a security layer on top of it, as well as our distribution. Yes, so to close, we do believe that this is just the beginning, and AI security is always going to grow as adoption of AI increases in all kinds of companies, small and large. The future of work is augmentation with AI. Any companies that don't use AI will be left behind, and security should be a top priority in all the adoption. And this is why we're here. Visit Insightcircle for more info. And
so are you in or are you out? Form your company's Insight Circle today. There's our email. We would love to come speak to you after this, as well as open the floor up to any questions now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed presenting to you.
So, okay, first person.
First of all, I think great presentation. I think it's a great. I think it's an interesting need for the enterprise. So just kind of, I know it's not exactly the same, but is it like guardrails, but like an enterprise version of that built for large companies? The open source package, the guardrails open source package. Have you heard of it? No?
I think the question, just to repeat it, is is this similar to guardrails? I think yes, this is similar to guardrails in that we do need to think about responsible AI, and so companies need to have a responsible AI policy. But I think right now the discussion in the media around guardrails is really around allowing autonomous agents, and this is really around what are the really basic features that we need to get so that employees can be enabled with AI. I think these are the guardrails for enterprise.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. There's an open source GitHub package called guardrails. I was referring to that. And anyway, so I think it's fine. It's fine if it is, but just want to understand like the output of LLMs to make sure it's secure, meaning if you're outputting PII or somebody's name or SSN, to block that. I think it's an important tool. Also, kind of when you look at the ROI, when you go pitch this to a big customer, how do you map this to a dollar amount? Is it more like, hey, data leak causes X million dollars, and so that's why you charge 100? How do you think about selling this and mapping the ROI?
Yeah, so I guess in terms of the product roadmap itself, I think comparing us to guardrails is not exactly accurate. How we are treating our solutions is to actually, let me just go back. So essentially what we are offering the enterprises as well as mid-market companies is beyond just security layer, but it's the entire conversational AI interface as well, with retrieval and hopefully fine-tune retrieval, where we were saying earlier about the long-term memory retrieval. So it's customization per company. A lot of times large enterprises like IBM, and they have a lot of their own MLEs, but with mid-market companies, they don't have this MLEs at hand to put to work for them to build their own LLM. So I think we're more providing off the shelf for mid-market and like SMEs, but at the same time providing some B2B SaaS, enterprise.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to what she said, so your kind of other part of the question was, how are we going to sell to people, right? And so there's these stats about how much you can amount data leaks and data loss in relation to revenue, right? There's like, for example, let's take Meta. Although that wasn't with LLMs, they lost, I think it was around $5 to $6 billion in fines due to data-related concerns. $5 billion, that speaks for itself, right? And there's other factors like productivity increases since the start of this year, the reduction in time it takes to complete the same tasks. And so those are other things we would go after in terms of pushing organizations to really buy this product, as well as things like it being on premise, so it never leaves the organization, each employee's organization's device. It won't leave. Any data sent will stay there. No sensitive data will even make it past our layer. Like there's no way whatsoever, as we showed, ChatGPT or any OpenAI or any API will ever get that information. Yeah.
As people move away from SaaS, OpenAI-like providers towards on-prem AI providers, how do you see yourself, in that transitioning market? Because people will probably start deploying these large language models inside their security boundary.
Absolutely. I think we're an on-prem solution ready for it. It's funny to look back. I've been through consulting and seen cloud be companies resisting moving to the cloud and only staying in their data centers, to now today where everyone's in the cloud and you see companies looking at going back to on-prem to save money, or and so we see that happening, and companies are going to choose whichever path they want. But on-prem makes the most sense for PII data and something that's handling that. So we're going to be able to support any on-prem LLM as well, and we'll continue to add more support for the cloud as they grow. We see both happening, but right now I think there's a rush towards using the cloud and controlling what's happening, which is employees are using the cloud without permission from their IT department. And maybe there just is no policy. So this is maybe the first time they're going to have that discussion in the company. Hey, how are we going to stop AI from leaking data?
Yeah, and just to add on, so I think, yeah, so obviously as time goes on, people are going to be deploying stuff like ChatGPT 4 level on their device. Like they're going to download a package which is ChatGPT 4 on their device. But we believe that as say when ChatGPT 5 comes out, if that's exponentially better than ChatGPT 4, which is highly likely, people are going to want GPT 5. People are going to be willing to take that SaaS route just to have something which is 5 times better, right? Now that I know we can get other conversational AIs locally, but they don't even compare to ChatGPT 4. So like, hey, we'll just go online and do it. So we also anticipate that there as well.
Thank you very much for your answer. For me, I'm a senior R&D engineer with this kind of AI application with different kind of industry business. So I'm just curious because a lot of audience, they already asked a question about this model thing and ChatGPT. So my curiosity is from your logo. So for the logo, if we look at those like OpenAI or like a DeepMind or like a Microsoft Copilot, they are like a closed circle. But for your logo, it's like a missing, it's an open circle. So I'm thinking like, what's the meaning for this logo? Do you have some kind of special inference from your logo? Yeah, logo is very important for the staff. Actually, it's very important for any kind of company. So what's the thought behind the logo? Thank you.
You stumped them.
Sorry, I'm not 100%. That was a good question, but I'm not sure I fully understood.
What was the motivation here for this logo?
Yeah, I think we're gonna hand this one to you. Yeah.
All right, sure. Well, the funny thing is that the logo was actually created during Inception Day, like co-working. Yeah, it was like done in like 10 minutes or something like that. But yeah, anyways, I guess the entire company's philosophy lies behind the inevitable change of technology. No matter what, maybe like today, OpenAI is the best model possible, but it may not be the case 2 years from now. So what we are enabling is a mode, a secure mode for companies to access multimodal ways of how conversational AI is unraveling. It could be Anthropic that's better in the future, and so we want to enable that innovation with security layer on top of it.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Then we have to
Maybe
move on to
somebody from Zoom.
next team, or is it?
Yeah, is there any-
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
anyone from the Zoom.
If there's no one on Zoom, we can do in the back. Yeah.
My key question is primarily going after productivity or privacy? And because I think that's going to hugely reflect your product roadmap, even with the next iteration, however you're gathering or building the models. So I know you mentioned about like productivity is a direct gain. Is that what you're solving for? Or are you actually solving for the privacy? Just given the compliance frameworks around the world that's actually emerging, and your model actually will enable these companies to not even worry about and then just continue to build and use the product. How are you like initial thinking around that?
Yeah, so I think privacy is a good entry point, but essentially there are all kinds of activities that business users want to be able to continue using on ChatGPT. It goes beyond just summary, right? It goes beyond just getting some insights. There are all kinds of business activities that could be 10x with conversational AI. So essentially, how we envision this is that we want to be able to create a bespoke solution of LLM per company in their own environment with their own retrieval, but then with a layer of security that is reliable, because currently it is just not. So I hope that answers your question.
Cool. Okay. Let's thank the Insightcircle team.
Yeah.